This is North Miami Beach, Florida. To our left are a few palm-shadowed strip malls. Ahead, behind those trees, are some tennis courts and a gator-infested canal. A few luxury apartments by the beach and one of Florida's premier nude beaches. And here in front of us, the oldest European building in the Western Hemisphere, a Spanish monastery dating to the 12th century. The monastery is here, ultimately, because of newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst, one of the wealthiest and most notorious men in Roaring Twenties America. In 1925, one of Hearst's agents located this monastery, dedicated to St. Bernard of Clairvaux, near Segovia in north-central Spain. Hearst purchased the monastery with the intention of using its stone to ornament his lavish mansion in California. The process of moving and its assembly was complicated by the fact that the monastery is located more than 100 miles from the nearest seaport. The stone was moved by a narrow-gauge railroad and brought by pulley over the local river. It was finally brought to port, packed into more than 11,000 wooden crates, and shipped to New York City. There, unfortunately, as part of a panic about foot and mouth disease, all the crates were repacked by government workers who burned the straw for fear that it was infectious. In the process, they scrambled the stone, which had been in carefully numbered crates, and lost the entire indexing system. As a result, Hearst was left with more than 11,000 crates filled with stones that no one was quite sure where to locate. Added to the problem was the fact that he was poorer than ever before, thanks to the worsening depression. And so the stones languished in their Bronx warehouse for 3 decades, until 2 Cincinnati businessmen purchased them with the intention of rebuilding them here in Miami as a tourist attraction. Let's go inside and check it out. The monastery was originally dedicated to Mary, Queen of the Angels, and here she is, flanked by cherubs and the lions of Leon and Castile. Entering, we come into the cloister that was at the center of the monastery complex. As you can see, the ornamentation of the capitals is Romanesque, that is, taking stylized Roman motifs. This north cloister features a series of corbels, which bear the arms of Spanish grandees who donated to the construction of the monastery complex. As you can see, it's a wonderful tropical space in this incarnation, with all of these frondy plants. Around Segovia, it's a little colder and drier, but it suits it here. Going forward, we have a statue of King Alfonso VII, who began the monastery in the year 1133 as a gesture of thanksgiving for a victory of his over the Moors. Partly because the original order of the stones was lost, and partly to fit its new site, the monastery was reorganized when it was reconstructed here in Miami. One part of the building that still retains its original feel, however, is a chapter house here ahead of us. A highlight are the column capitals, which, in good Romanesque fashion, take Roman motifs, like acanthus leaves, and reinterpret them in a series of unique and often very stylized ways. Now, how each of these 4 are all different. Also interesting, as an example of Romanesque sculpture, is this statue of Christ the King, carved by an early monk at the monastery in the 12th century. Turning from this fine view of the cloister, we enter the space now used as the chapel. Originally, this was the refectory of the monastery, the place where the monks ate. The highlight here, aside from these nice Christmas decorations, are the 2 windows over the main altar. These are 2 of only 3 known telescopic stained glass windows to survive from the Middle Ages. Aside from the sheer novelty of finding a medieval monastery in Miami, the importance of this place is as an example of a way that early 20th century America wanted to see the Middle Ages as a repository of spiritual values, a contrast to the hustle and bustle of the modern mechanized age. This was a past that magnates like Hearst wanted to link themselves with, to claim, to appropriate. That is, of course, a very problematic way to view the past, but the people of Miami Beach can be grateful, at least, to have gained, from all this, such a peaceful oasis.